Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ben Cook. As chairman of the Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame Committee, I welcome you to the Andy Griffith Playhouse for the 2024 induction ceremony. We're glad you're here, and we hope that you will enjoy seeing and meeting our distinguished class of inductees to the Sports Hall of Fame. Please rise and honor America for the playing of the national anthem.
I'm John Cawley. I'm the mayor of Mount Airy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this Hall of Fame induction ceremony. You know, I think these people behind me that are being inducted would say to you, this would be meaningless if it weren't for the people who loved them and were willing to share this event with them. And so your presence here today is the greatest gift that they will get this afternoon. Today we're going to induct a race car driver, a coach, a team, and a golfer. And then our Granite City award winner has done all of those things. And so it's a really special day. It's I couldn't have asked for a better Hall of Fame inductee ceremony in my first year doing this as the mayor. They've also asked me, because I'm an ordained minister, to do the invocation. And that's something that I welcome too, because every time the people get together, we hope that God will bless us. And in the Old Testament, God said to Moses, Moses, tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are to bless my people. And what I want you to know about that, it's found in Numbers chapter 6, if you ever want to go and read it for yourselves. But what I want you to know about that is it was a commandment. It wasn't just something, if you don't have anything better to do. When we get together, this is how we are to bless each other. He said, Moses, tell Aaron and his sons, you are to say to the Israelites, the people who have fought with God and overcome, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. And I add to that, for it is his peace that we need in this world that is too dangerous for anything but truth and too big for anything but love. It's the love of what these people behind me did that brought them here today. And it's your love for them that brought you here today. So let's celebrate some love. Ben?
Mount Airy is not only blessed with outstanding athletes, coaches, and administrators, we're also very fortunate to have a lot of dedicated individuals who are willing to step up and volunteer their time and talents to the many commissions and boards that the city has. It has been my pleasure to work with another one of these groups this year. The members of the Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame Committee worked hard at the beginning of the year to be sure that this event is one the inductees, their families and friends, and the citizens of the area can be proud of. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Hall of Fame Committee to you. Voting members are myself, Rondell Radcliffe, Joey Slate, who is trekking the Appalachian Trail currently, not here, Tommy Morrison, Mayor John Cawley, Ron Snow, and Sandy George. Ex officio members are the city manager, Darren Lewis, and Director of Parks and Recreation Department, Peter Raymer. Please join me in thanking these individuals for putting together today's program. It is now time to begin our induction ceremony. Once again, we are glad that you could be with us today to honor the inductees and their proud families. This all began in 2002 when David Beal, a longtime Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame Committee member, had the vision to create this outstanding event and honor the rich sports history of Mount Airy. He created a committee of sports-minded individuals, and 20-plus years later, it is an honor to continue his vision. And if any family members are in attendance, we ask that you stand and be recognized for David's outstanding service. We thank you. In 2003, the committee inducted its first class. I'd like to review with you how the members are chosen and how they qualify for induction into the Hall. It all begins with a nomination form submitted by members of the general public to this committee. Persons nominated for membership must have had a recognized career as an athlete, coach, sports official, or administrator in a sports program in the area. The person's career must have brought recognition to the individual and the area of their involvement and contributed to the promotion and success of sports in the Manatee City School District, the Manatee City limits, or the former 1 mile extraterritorial jurisdiction. The person must be of good character and reputation and must have upheld the ideals of good sportsmanship. They must have been a resident of the area by either birth or relocation. Each year, the committee can elect up to 4 individuals into the Sports Hall of Fame and 1 for Granite City Award. We'd like to recognize previous inductees by asking you to stand. In attendance, please stand. Thank you. Our first inductee into the 2024 Greater Manatee Sports Hall of Fame is Frank Fleming. Presenting the award is Rondale Radcliffe.
So it is my honor and privilege to be here today and to introduce Mr. Frank Fleming, a well-known local businessman, a local racing legend who has represented Mount Airy all over the East Coast in all classes of racing. Over the past several years, I've had the honor of introducing several athletes for enshrinement into the Greater Mount Airy Hall of Fame. Each of these individuals had something in common. Each of them had the drive to push themselves to be the best they could ever be, never gave up on the pursuit of excellence, and Frank absolutely is no exception. Frank started out like many kids, playing baseball and football. When he played, he was going to give it all he had. He had the mentality he was going to win. By all accounts, Frank was a great athlete. He excelled in football until one game, one play that changed Frank's trajectory forever. That day in junior high school, when Frank was 14 years old, he suffered a broken back on the football field. Frank attempted to come back to football, but after a year or so, he knew he couldn't play it to the level that he had before. So at 16 years old, football was over for Frank. Frank's father had dabbled with race cars, and Frank was no stranger to racing. During his recovery, he started working with cars and motorcycles and had an increasing interest in them. After an auto accident, at 16 years old, Frank started hanging around at the body shop where his car was being repaired. He became friends with Ronald McMillan and Clifford Shockley from the body shop. This relationship led to Frank attending races with them at 311 Speedway on Saturday nights. Every weekend he would go with them. On the way home from 311 one Saturday night, about Rule Hall, I think Frank said, it just hit him. He wanted to be a race car driver. He decided that was for him. So when he turned 18 in 1979, Frank bought his first race car, and his view on Saturday night at 311 changed from the spectator to a driver. Frank would be quick to tell you he wanted to race, but he really didn't know that much about the finer points of racing, setting up the car and things like that to get it ready to race. He told me a story about the amount of air that is required in the tires of a dirt track car. And let's just say it's not the same it was in his truck, the 32 pounds that he was driving to get there. He said his car may have had some handling problems that day, to say the least. So I spoke of his desire to push himself to be the best, and racing was no different. Before the year was over, Frank had finished in 3rd place. 1980 saw Frank go all in, bought a brand new race car. He would spend his days working to pay for the car. He put all the money he had in that car outside of one $20 bill that he kept. And he would go to work every day, putting all the money into his race car, and work at night working on the car. So to say he was all in, he was all in. That same year, he went on to win his first feature race and finished top 5 overall for the year. 1981 saw him finish top 3 in points. '83, he moved up to late model division while still working day and night, funding his own operation with some limited sponsorship. That year, he finished second in points against very strong competition. '84 saw him win 6 feature races at 311. This year, he was sponsored in a new modified car. 1985, Frank was winning often at Bowman Gray in Winston-Salem, and the success brought the chance to race at Wilkesboro Speedway. He set a track qualifying record at over 125 miles per hour. And just for reference, the Cup cars at the time was running around 114 miles per hour at Wilkesboro. And even more impressive, that was his first time at that track. The next day was his first live TV race, the Lowe's 150. His racing career took a scary turn that afternoon. He had an accident that left him with a brain bleed in 2 places and would sideline him for 6 months. But again, he did not give up on pursuing his dream. '86 and '87, he's running 30, 40 races a year and winning, but he's still having some issues from the wrecks. The Grand National Division NASCAR was only 1 step down from the NASCAR Cup Series. In 1988, Frank found himself in a Busch Grand National car. He ran 5 races that year, including Rockingham, Darlington, and Charlotte. Also in '88, Frank had the opportunity to qualify on another team's car in Charlotte. In only his second time at the track, he made the field and had a respectable 20-something finish. After that impressive Charlotte finish, he received a call from the car's owner and offered him 10 more races in the car. 1990 saw Frank in Daytona for the first time, qualifying 9th against some of the best competition in racing. Again, this was a car that was built and funded locally. Think about it for a minute. This is a man that in 10 short years had gone from not knowing how much air was needed in his tires at 311 to qualifying on one of NASCAR's biggest tracks. So that is nothing less than amazing. In his career, Frank has won over 50 races and 55 features, all up and down the East Coast. So Frank, a little about him personally, he started his body shop in '78, again working on his cars. And today you can find him over on Marita Street in a state-of-the-art body shop. He and his wife Gina live here in Mount Airy with their daughter Megan, Megan, she was a very good athlete at Mount Airy High School in her own right. And I know Frank's proud of her as well. Frank's won races in 4 different decades, and he is still racing. So I have no doubt Frank will add that 5th decade to his racing resume. So Frank, it is my honor to present to you, or to welcome you to the Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow, I wasn't expecting all that. Great crowd here. Thank you all for coming out. Good afternoon. Rondell, thank you for such a great introduction. First of all, I would like to congratulate Coach Kelly Holder, the 2008 Mount Airy High School football team, Steve Forrest, and Cathy Cloukey for your induction into the Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame. It's one of the greatest honors of my life to be inducted along with you guys. Kelly, thank you for all your years coaching. It's been fun cheering for you and your teams all these years. Congratulations on all your championships you have won. The 2008 football team, thank you for all the time, effort you put into your championship year. I enjoyed following you guys that year. Steve Forrest. I just met Steve earlier tonight. Didn't really know him, heard a little bit about him. But Steve, all I know to tell you is I've always been afraid to play golf. I was afraid I'd like it. And as busy as racing's kept me, I didn't think I could find time to play. You had to be a great golfer from some of the stories I've heard about you. Congratulations to you. Cathy Cloukey, the Granite City Award. Could have not been a better choice. Well deserved. Congratulations to you. To the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, Ben Cook, Chairman, Rondell Ratcliffe, Sandy George, Ron Snow, Joey Slate, Tommy Morrison, Mayor John Cawley, City Manager Darren Lewis, Parks and Rec Director Peter Raymere. Thank you for considering and voting me through to the class of 2024 Hall of Fame inductees. It's great for me to know that my legacy will always be remembered by my local community. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to mention some names. It's going to be tough. I want to mention some names of a few people who's passed away that would have loved to have been here to share this day with me. Sorry. I know y'all said 3 minutes, but you got to get over it. My mom and dad, my father-in-law, Hale Terry, my second set of parents, Robert and Dottie Haymore, Aldine Center, who helped me in my racing and business career, my lifetime friend and crew member, Charlie Smith, my NASCAR modified car owner, Jim Wilson, and y'all got to forgive me, John Fayrow, NASCAR Busch Grand National car that I drove, and several crew members, too many to name. Thank you all for the part you played in my racing career. I wish you all could be here to share this day with me. I want to tell y'all something about my mom. It's a story that I've always enjoyed telling people. But you heard Ron say I got hurt at Wilkesboro in '85. And it was about 4 months later, I was getting ready to race again, and she come to me. Now, y'all got a picture of this. I'm not reading this. I'm just going by memory. Y'all got a picture of mother's love to her son. I didn't know what I put my mother through. So I had Megan, and I knew what having a kid was. Even though I was a grown man, I was still my mama's baby. But I was getting ready to go back out racing again, and she come to me. She said, "Son, I want to ask you something." I said, "Sure, Mom, what is it?" She said, "If you'll just go out there on that track and ride around real slow on the bottom and let all them other nuts go on, I'll be just as proud of you." That's a mother's love. Okay. I could tell stories about other people, and there's many more people that's passed away that's not here that would love to share this minute with me. And I'm getting my voice back, so maybe I can get through the rest of this. I want to thank all the people that's helped me throughout my career. It all started at 311 Speedway in 1979. I've raced up and down the East Coast from Concord, New Hampshire to Daytona Speedway and out in the Midwest as far as the Indianapolis Raceway Park, winning many races, setting many track qualifying records, some that still stand today. I've had many great sponsors, car owners, and team members that have helped me make this possible. I want to thank you all. I've got to give a special thanks to two men. These two men took a young man that run a dirt car that didn't know nothing about it and give me my first ride. They were my first car owners, Ted Edmond and Jim Wilson. We built and raced the famed 40 NASCAR Modified that ran from 1985 to 1989 with much success. They give me as a young man a chance to show the racing world what I could do. Thank you, Ted and Jim. This ride opened the doors for me to venture out into many Busch Grand National races before settling down to drive for one of the top Southern Modified teams for the next 17 years. I was fortunate enough to drive the famed '07 NASCAR Modified out of Philadelphia, Virginia for the legendary Speedy Thomas and his son Talmadge. I know y'all are here, and I want you to know if it wasn't without y'all's help, I wouldn't be receiving this honor today. Thank you. As of this year, I have driven for Talmadge, or he's been my crew chief for 35 years. That's unheard of. Thank you, Talmadge. Speedy, thank you for the honor of being your driver. And Talmadge, thank you for all the years of leading our race team as the owner or crew chief. It's been a fun ride. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Now, to thank my family. My wife of 31 years, Gina. She needs a hand. Let's all give her a hand. Her father was one of my biggest fans. Hale has been gone about 15, 16 years now. But before we got married, he told Gina something. He told her that Frank was racing before we started dating, and that I was going to be racing after we got married, and he never wanted to hear her say a word about it. So he gave her a fair warning. And to this day, she's never said a word other than support for me. Thank you, Gina. To my daughter and her husband, Casey and Megan Wright. And there's a joke about Megan Wright. I won't say it real quick. I'm adding this in. Megan had a few boyfriends before she met Casey. But she come home one night, she says, "Daddy, I think I finally got it right." So she ended up being all right. I tried to get Casey to change his name to Fleming. I told him it would take him a whole lot further, but he wouldn't listen. But these two help me run my business now, and I'm so glad you're here to share this day with me. Megan was not born until I was almost 40, so she missed my early days racing, but got to enjoy my later years. Casey's only seen me race a few times, but they both have heard many stories about my career. Thank you both. To my sister and her husband, Debbie and Nikki York, you've played a bigger role in my life than many people know. Not only did you support me in my early career, but if not for you and Nikki taking care of Mom and Dad, your two brothers would not have been racing these last 10 years. Debbie and Nikki, thank you both. To your daughter, Leslie, you've supported me my whole racing career. Not only the support, but your name has been on the hood of many of my cars. Thank you, Leslie. Next is a big one. My brother, Chris. And y'all better thank goodness that he's not up here talking. I think as John and some of them has heard him in the counselor meetings, he can tell some pretty wild stories. Chris has worked on my cars and helped me throughout most of my career. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Chris gets just as much satisfaction out of me winning as he does himself. Chris, thank you for all you've done for me in my career. By the way, Chris is not too bad a driver himself. He was just a late bloomer. He won 3 races last year at Bowman Gray Stadium as a 60-year-old man. That's unheard of, Chris. Chris has 2 sons that's helped me race over the years, and they're winners and drivers also. Thank you, Luke and Jordan. There are two more special people that I want to mention. The first is Rudy Peel. Rudy, you're a 38-year friend and crew member who's been with me most of my career. Thank you, Rudy. Next is William Smith, and some of y'all might have heard him holler a while ago. William Crab Smith, excuse me. I've known Crab for 40-plus years, but he's only been with our team for the last 14 years as a car owner and driver. Crab, thank you all for all you've done for our team. Rudy and Crab, we love you guys as brothers. Thank you. In closing, I'm sure I forgot to mention some names, but I think you all know that you played a big part in me receiving this honor. And I'm going to add one more name in. Ed, I didn't have your name on this list, but Ed East is sitting on the front row here. He helped me in my early dirt days. Thank you, Ed. And I want to thank all the people that's helped me. Thank y'all for letting me go over my 3 minutes. I'm going to give it back to you. Thank y'all.
Our next inductee is Kelly Holder. Presenting the award is Sandy George.
I'm pleased to recognize Kelly Holder as a member of the 2024 class of the Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame. Some may not know, but Kelly was also a great math teacher at Mount Airy High School, and the boy can sing. And not only gospel music. Once at the city school's end-of-year picnic, he belted out a fantastic rendition of the B-52's Love Shack. You all know the song. I wish y'all could have been there. He brought the house down. Kelly is a man of many talents. However, I'm sorry to say today that Kelly is flawed. He is a flawed man. He loves Duke. And you can be assured that when Duke beat Carolina, it never failed. And Kelly would be rubbing it in on the morning announcements. Yeah. He did. Gave me a really hard time. For 19 years, Kelly coached his players on and off the field of Mount Airy High School. He won an impressive 195 games, more than any other head coach in the 103 seasons of Granite Bear football. He has won 9 conference titles, 5 regional final appearances, 3 Western Regional Championships, 2 North Carolina High School Athletic State runner-ups. That 2009 should have been a championship. That boy's knee was down. I saw it. It was. 1 state championship. 2008, he coached in the East-West All-Star Game. In 2015, he coached in the Shrine Bowl. It's clear that Kelly Holder has left an indelible mark on both the Mount Airy High School community and the Greater Mount Airy Hall Sports Hall of Fame. His dedication to his players, both on and off the field, speaks volumes about his character and commitment to shaping young lives. It's evident that he embodies the values of sportsmanship, leadership, and mentorship, qualities that extend far beyond the realm of football. It is his emphasis on relationships and character development that truly sets him apart. He once told a reporter, "Relationships are more important than wins, and I have been blessed with many wonderful relationships with my players." One last observation, Kelly loves Jesus, and he is a man of deep faith. I say all of this because Kelly is so much more than a fantastic football coach. a great high school math teacher, a gifted singer, and a man of faith. He is a son, a husband, a father, a brother, a mentor, a fierce friend, and one of the best people you will ever have the pleasure of meeting. As Kelly takes his well-deserved place in the Hall of Fame, it is clear that his legacy will continue to inspire generations of athletes and students in Mount Airy and beyond. I love you, Coach Holder, and your sweet family. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Coach Kelly Holder.
I was sitting there, my legs were crossed, and my right leg is asleep, and I barely made it to the podium, so I'm just happy to be here at the time. But yeah, this is probably going to be tough. Frank's was great. Mine's not going to be that good, but it's going to be shorter. Very, very grateful. Grateful is the word of the day, and I'm sure if you ask any of these folks up here that grateful is going to be the word you're going to hear the most. Talked to Frank beforehand, and he was talking about how he teared up when they called him, and I said, you big sissy. I said, you're a racer, big tough racer. You're going to ruin your reputation. But I kind of felt the same, and I got to meet Coach Forrest as well, and for the first time today, seemed like such a gentleman. And of course, I've known Cathy for a very long time, even the days when I was running around the YMCA. And I've already seen a lot of 2008 kids come in, and what a joy it is to see those faces. What a team. So I'm going to talk just a little bit. Success often breeds success. I have a picture at our house, and I brought one with me here, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Gary York takes a lot of pictures, and if you go to a state championship, he's going to be there. And he's going to take a bunch of pictures, and you're going to be left with a stack of about this big, knowing what in the world am I going to do with those? Well, you keep them. And we have a picture from 2008, and it was a bunch of kids in the stands. And what they're doing was they were cheering their heroes on, their high school heroes. They wanted to be Luke and Aaron Wheeler. They wanted to be Michael Dobson. And you could see those kids in that picture. Well, in 2017, I have another picture. And there's another batch of children, kids, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 years old. And they're watching the state championship game, which we didn't win. Those kids that were watching that 2008 game that you could see in the stands, they're now playing. Success breeds success. This past year, I got the opportunity to be at another. And I seen another picture. It's a new batch of kids, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, watching these kids playing. Those same kids that watched Ian and watched Donovan Green, they're now playing. And guess what? There's another batch of kids in the stands that are one day wanting to take their place. Success breeds success. It's not about the coaches, I can promise you that. This picture right here means a lot. This is 2008, Aaron. And for all you 2008 people out there, this is the influence that you have. And I know because they're my kids. This is Logan. Logan has coached in 2 state championships since 2008. This is Ian. Ian played in his own state championship game. And on the back is a 13-year-old Austin Taylor, who is now the head coach of the Granite Bears. Success breeds success. I'm going to read you something here for a second. This was straight out of my resignation letter when I don't even know if I resigned or retired, or I don't even really know what I did. I just said I'm not going to be the head coach, right? And I'm going to give you some quotes from that. If you're a football coach, Mount Airy is the place you want to do it. And if you're a football player, Mount Airy is the place you want to do it. Top-notch tradition, first-tier community, great administrations, trusting parents, first-class coaching staffs, great kids and great players, and it's because of that that there are lots and lots of wins. Another quote, "This program is bigger than the individuals involved, and I've always tried to do what is best for our program." Quote number 3, "When I was hired at Mount Airy High School, Coach Jerry Hollingsworth told me, 'This is not your team. It is the community's team.' I hope I've been a good steward of the talent and the young men that the community has given me, and he is right. It's not about me, it's about the community." Quote number 3, "I can't say enough about how grateful I am that Mount Airy had the faith to hire a 28-year-old county boy to lead this program. But my most sincere thanks lies with the players that I have coached." And this is where we did not plan this, Sandy George, but this is where I said relationships are more important than wins. And I've been blessed with a lot of wonderful relationships with a lot of wonderful players. And quote number 4, "Mount Airy was great before me. It was great during me. And as you've seen from the last 2 years, it's great without me." So, grateful is the word of the day. And I've got some things I'm grateful for, and I'm going to end with this. I'm grateful that my kids got to experience Mount Airy High School and Mount Airy football. I'm grateful that I have a die-hard coach's wife. I am grateful that Chris Johnson decided he was going to come with me and help me when I came to Mount Airy High School from Surrey Central. I am grateful that I had a lot of coaches around me who were great, great friends and who made up for my many mistakes. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to work with Coach Price. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to work for someone who I dearly love, and that is Sandy George. I'm grateful for all the good players and good men that I've had the pleasure of coaching and the relationships that I had with them. I am grateful for the Mount Airy community who allowed me to be a small part of their team as their head coach for 19 years. My mother is 84. She might be 85. How old are you, Mama? And she's not feeling well, and she came down the mountain today. I'm grateful that I had a mama that taught me that there are more important things in life than winning football games. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to be inducted today with all these worthy, fine people. Grateful is the word of the day, and I'm grateful. Lastly, I'm grateful that the Lord saw fit for some reason to allow me to coach and work here in Mount Airy. It is a great place. It was when I got here, and it still is. It has been a joy and a blessing, and I was shorter than Frank. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is the 2008 Mount Airy High School football team. Presenting the award is Tommy Morrison.
They were the first in the school's history. And folks, coming up this fall, Mount Airy High School will start its 104th season of playing high school football. And this team here today was the very first one in the previous to go 16-0. They led the nation in scoring that fall, and that's all factions of football. That's high school, college, pro. They scored more points than any of those teams. They had an outstanding defense. Defense allowed less than a touchdown a game. In the High School Athletic Association record book, the 2008 team is listed 6 times for records. Now that being individuals and team, and there's probably more, just couldn't find them all. But 6 times they are in the record books. 2 members of this 2008 team had NFL tryouts. NFL tryouts. And all those numbers are impressive. And there's more, folks. I could stand up here and talk, but I'd get run off the stage about them. I mean, it's impressive. But the number I'm here today to talk about is the number 1. And that's how those guys played. They played as one. If they didn't, we wouldn't be having this ceremony with them. It'd be another team. The 2008 team, that fall, they had the support of this community and of its school system, of its high school. Its principal sits right over here. It had an outstanding coaching staff. You just met him. Some of the other ones are here. Most of and all these guys, they're still doing it. And they're still winning. And of course, there's the players. If I counted right, there was 38 of them. And every time those guys put that uniform on, they played as one. For 15 Friday nights and 1 Saturday, they put everything else aside and they came together as one. And on that 1 Saturday in December in Raleigh, North Carolina, they gave their football program, they gave their school, and they gave this community something they had not seen in 40 years, and that was a state championship in football. Here today to speak on behalf of his team is one of the senior captains and the most valuable player in that 08 championship game, Mr. Aaron Wheeler. But before I turn it to him, I got one thing I want to say, and this is straight out to the players and to the coaches of that team. You didn't realize it then, but 16 years ago, when you walked off of that field in Raleigh, North Carolina, you raised the bar for Mount Airy football. And all the teams then, the ones now, and the ones that are coming down the road, they will all compare themselves and be compared to you guys. This honor here today is well deserved. It's very well deserved. So with that said, it is indeed my privilege and with great bear pride that I introduce to you our next inductees into the 2024 class of the Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame, the 2008 Granite Bear football team of Mount Airy High School.
Thank you, Tommy. First, I'd like to start off, if you were on that 2008 team, player or coach, if you could, just please stand up really quick and let everybody give you a round of applause. On behalf of myself and every single teammate here today, we are truly honored. We'd like to start by saying thank you to the City of Mount Airy and the selection committee. Obviously, without the committee's vote, this wouldn't have been possible, so thank you guys. What an honor. We'd like to take this time to recognize a few people for their help and support during such an important time in all of our young lives. If I do not say your name, I apologize beforehand, but again, they gave me 3 minutes, and I promise I will stick to it. So, first and foremost, we'd like to thank all of our coaches who put together a great game plan week in and week out to help us be the best that we could be. Coach Taylor, Coach Johnson, Coach Moore, Coach Bruce, Coach Wonderly, Coach Hodges, Coach Price, we miss you, Coach. And of course, Coach Holder. Congrats, Coach. Well deserved. Thank you guys for the dedication and work that you put in for us, not only on the field, but off as well. We got to leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and you guys stayed late every night to make sure that so many other things were taken care of. Game film was studied, the field was kept up with, our jerseys were washed, and so many other things that I don't think any of us ever thanked you guys for. But I would like to add that this isn't about just the team of 2008. It is a testimony to the hard work and dedication of so many other individuals, and we'd like to briefly thank them as well. This all started coming together when we were all in Little League. Most of us started together, and I'm happy to say that we've officially finished what we started around 25, 30 years ago. We'd like to thank Ronnie Wheeler, Keith Henson, Eddie Horton, David Barber, and every other dad who came out and helped with the North Main Bears. We'd also like to thank every coach and parent that was with the South Main Jets as well. This laid the foundation for why we are here today. Without you, some of us may have never found the love of the game, and we are truly grateful for that. We'd like to thank all of our middle school coaches, including Frank Shepard and the late, great Coach Heilman, who were paramount preparing us for our high school journey. We'd like to thank the Mount Airy Youth Foundation for being instrumental at the time for allowing us to have the best equipment to keep us safe and also allowing us to look good while we won football games. We'd like to thank the Boosters Club, the Football Boosters Club, and all the parents who were a part of it as well. You sacrificed every Wednesday night to make sure that we were fed. During games, you ran the gates, you fundraised your butts off, and so many other behind-the-scenes things that get forgotten about once kickoff happens. We'd like to thank Joe Cook for being there every single Friday night to give us something to look back on so many years later. Those videos are something that we now can show our kids when they get older and hopefully make them feel proud to be our kids. We'd like to thank Tommy Morrison, Kelly Epperson, and Enoch, WPAQ, the best high school sports radio broadcast in the area. We really appreciate your guys' dedication and making sure those who couldn't come and could be at least in attendance in some shape or fashion. Lastly, I'd like to personally say thank you to my teammates. I know we're all old now, and it's life works in mysterious ways, doesn't it? But one thing that I know isn't a mystery is how truly special this team was. You guys will always be family to me, and I will personally never forget the times that we spent giving our blood, sweat, and tears to the game that we love. I'd like to add one last thing. Again, this wasn't just about the 2008 team. This was about the city of Mount Airy in 2008. This city came together as a whole to be part of this whole thing. And again, we are truly honored to have been able to represent this community in something that means so much to so many. 2008 laid the foundation for future generations, and we're so happy to see our young community keeping the Granite Bears winning tradition alive. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Steve Forrest. Presenting the award is John Cawley.
This is truly a great day for the city of Mount Airy. I could start a debate probably. I like to debate, and we as coaches and people who've played ball and done other things sometimes like to sit around and philosophize about what's the toughest thing to do in sports. And for some people, you know, they would say, well, it's to be the quarterback and throw a pass when there's 3 defenders closing in, but others would say it's to hit a baseball. I did both of those things, and I will tell you that for me, the toughest thing to do in sports is to hit a golf ball where you want to hit it. And that is if you know, you know. If you don't know, I won't waste any of your time trying to explain it to you. A couple of things about the game of golf. It is extremely difficult to get a golf ball to do what you want it to do over and over again. Second thing about it It is extremely difficult to get in the Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame as a golfer. It's really difficult to do that. And the fact that Steve Forrest is being inducted today, I hope will say to you that he rises above. There's a lot of good golfers. And then there's Steve Forrest. I first met his father before I met him. Guess where I met Emmett? It wasn't at the fix-it shop. It was on the golf course. And one of the things that golf brought to me and my boys in my life was it brought just about every time you are found around or on a golf course, you're going to be around people who are successful. If you go over there today and look at the list of people who are in our Hall of Fame, most of those people I met for the first time at the Mount Airy Country Club. That's where Steve was introduced to the game of golf, and that's where he got the foundation of not just how to hit a golf ball, to go where you want it to go, and he learned how to be a gentleman. You don't have to know him for long to know that this gentleman cares about other people. When he was 11 years old, he made his first hole-in-one. Since that day, he's made 12 more. And I can tell you that he's played in 6 national championships. He's the only person from Mount Airy to ever win the NC Amateur, the North Carolina Amateur Golf Tournament. He was the medalist the year later at the U.S. Amateur Championship. It's an incredible feat. And if you know, you know. But now I want you to know Steve Forrest. Steve?
This bottle with 1/4 full of water is me as a 9-year-old in Mount Airy. I would like to thank the Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame Committee for having me in the class of 2024. I'd also like to thank Mayor Cawley for the great introduction. Thank you, sir. But I really want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and my daughter, Dr. Bonnie Morris, for me being here today. It's an honor to be in the class of 2024 with such great people, Frank, Kelly, the 2008 Mount Airy High School football team, and Cathy. Back to the water bottle. When I was young, I was a bat boy with my father, Surrey County Mount Airy fast pitch all-star softball team, who went to Winston-Salem and surrounding areas to play some of the great teams. And one of the players on that team, Butter Cox, gave me my first bit of advice as I was being bat boy shagging balls during batting practice. He told me to make sure I kept my eye on the batter, not on the balls coming in from the outfield. Some great advice right there. So with that, I'd like to pour a little bit of water into my water bottle to add it up a little bit. At Mount Airy Country Club, when I started playing golf, I ran into some great people that were also in the Hall of Fame. I did not know anything about that at that time because the Hall of Fame hadn't been started. But one was Fred Folger Jr., who kind of gave me some good advice, took me under his wings, and showed me a lot of things. And occasionally I would even slip into the pool hall downstairs and see Fred's picture on the wall at the pool hall kicking a football. Along at the same time, Jim Miller was also at Mount Airy Country Club, and he taught me how to compete and to be a gentleman. So with those two, I'd like to add a little more water of knowledge to my bottle. About that same time at Mount Airy Country Club, I ran into a gentleman who really had an influence on me. When I was about 14, I had a temper playing golf. I'd get upset when I didn't do well. And I played with the gentleman, Ed Ashby. And after we got finished playing, he didn't embarrass me in front of everyone. He took me off to the side. And he told me, until I learn to control myself, I can't control this golf ball. And I've always remembered that. And I think that works for a lot of different sports also. So for Ed, let's pour a little more water into my bottle of knowledge. I went to college at Virginia Tech, and while I was up there, I was around Blacksburg for a while, and Coach Moyer was in and about Blacksburg being coach, and then at Roanoke College and so forth. So I was able to watch Coach Moyer from a little bit of a distance, but close up also, and saw how he worked and how he was as a person. And you can see most of these people got into the Sports Hall of Fame. And they gave me a little bit of their knowledge. They helped me along the way. They told me how to act. They told me what to do. Some of them gave me some tips on my golf, helped me with some greenside shots, different things like that. So they passed on their knowledge to a young person like myself. After college, I was playing on the mini tours, professional mini tours down in Florida, and Doc Wall was living in Plant City at that time. And Doc was a great fellow. He kept me in the best tasting strawberries you've ever eaten out of Plant City. Great strawberries down there. But he also kind of helped me with some things in living in Florida and playing on the mini tour down that way. So again, pour a little more water into my knowledge of knowledge. So with all these things, you can see how people that are in the Sports Hall of Fame have really helped me along the way. They've given me ideas, kept me on the path I need to be, really were mentors to me along the way. A few years ago, my family, my wife, my sisters wanted to start the Airy Junior Golf program. We need some help with that. So with the help of Ted Ashby and Jim York, we were able to make that happen. We were also able to give $1,000 scholarships to one of the players in that tournament. Not the winner of the tournament. It's the person who conducted themselves properly, who helped other golfers. So that came from my upbringing. As you can see, my bottle of water is mostly full now, but it's never all the way going to be full. And I want all of us to pass down your knowledge that you have with different sports, helping other young people to become better people, whether they're the best player on the team or the person who's just on the team for the love of the game. Having taught for 45 years in golf, one of my greatest lessons I ever had was an older lady. She came to me for golf lessons, and we worked. She was having trouble getting the ball in the air. Tried everything in the world, didn't have much success. Then we started teeing up the ball for her on each and every shot. She could get the ball in the air, and she could hit it about 100 yards teed up. So I suggested that she play golf using a tee. She said, that's not legal, that's against the rules. So I asked her, I said, well, who do you play golf with? She said, my husband. So about 3 or 4 months later, I'm out at dinner one night and felt somebody put their hands on my shoulder. Turned around, it was this lady. She bent down and whispered to me, I'm having so much fun with golf now. I use a green tee during the summer and a brown tee during the winter. So helping people that are not the all-stars on the team really gives us all a lot of pleasure. In the long run, that's what it's all about. I'd like to give a special thanks to my wife, Jeannie, daughter, Bonnie, her family, Peter, Caroline, and James, to my sister, Terry, for helping with everything that was needed for the Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame, and for shagging golf balls with me down on number 4 at Mount Airy Country Club when I was learning to play golf. Thank you. Gilbert, we're so glad you're in our life. My sister Dixie and her husband Wes, who have been with me through all the times of my life and been behind me. Special thanks to my Aunt Polly. She's in the Granite City Award member here in the Hall of Fame. And to my Aunt Frankie, who's here today also. These two ladies have been very special in my life for 73 years. Thank you. All my friends and family today that are here, thank you so much for coming. And it's an honor to be in the Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame.
Our next inductee is Cathy Cloukey. Presenting the Granite City Award is Ron Snow.
Cathy's journey at Reeves Community Center, RCC, is a testament to her dedication and passion for community service. It all began in the summer 1978, fresh out of Mount Airy High School. When Cathy embarked on her journey at Reeves Community Center, despite leaving for college, her heart remained with Reeves Community Center as she returned each summer until 1982. After graduating from the University of North Carolina, Cathy's commitment to RCC flourished further as she assumed the role of program director. In a multifaceted position, Cathy wore numerous hats within the ORCC system, from leading youth and adult athletics to overseeing the aquatics area and in managing sports field sites. Cathy's impact was vast and transformative. Not content with the status quo, Cathy introduced various programs during her tenure, including Pee Wee Soccer, Senior High Basketball League, the Instructional Soccer Program, and the Summer Swim Team's Reeves Renegades. Notably, Cathy's influence has reached far and wide as she has impacted thousands of individuals throughout our community. Cathy's impact on the community was duly recognized with the induction into the prestigious Hall of Fame in 2020, I'm sorry. 1920, that'd be a long time ago. She'd be really old. She was honored with the place in the Surrey County Sports Hall of Fame Ring of Honor, followed by recognition on the Mount Airy City Schools Wall of Leadership and Service in 2021. I got that one right. Despite the accolades, Cathy remains humble, feeling blessed to have devoted her career to enriching the lives of countless individuals. Cathy's legacy at RCC is one of the unwavering commitment, tireless dedication, and a profound impact on the community. Her story serves as an inspiration to all who strive to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. She has worked alongside many directors in her tenure to include Terry Pruitt, Katrina Alexander, Darren Lewis, and now Peter Raymer. Before we give Cathy a standing ovation, I ask that you stand if Cathy has made an impact on you, a family member, or a friend. Now it is my pleasure to officially recognize Cathy Cloukey as the 2024 Greater Mount Airy Sports Hall of Fame Granite City Award winner.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, committee, and thank you for the warm applause there. A couple of weeks ago, our director, Peter Raymer, called me outside, and I was greeted by Parks and Recreation coworkers and city coworkers. Peter said, "Cathy, look up on the marquee." It said, "Cathy Cloukey, Granite City Award winner." I was so shocked. I asked Peter, "What is that?" I was clueless. But anyway, shocked and speechless. And if you know me, public speaking is a challenge. So my first thought was, oh my goodness, I got to give a speech today. So all week I've practiced on my two colleagues, Samson and Finn, and they have looked at me like I was crazy, and I just didn't get good feedback from them. But it's a privilege and honor to be selected for this award and to share in this day with these legendary gentlemen up here. I'm honored. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I promise mine is 3 minutes. I timed it. As I thought about what I wanted to say today, a thought kept popping in my head that we are only as good as the influences and people that surround us, and that we are never alone on our life journey. I thank the good Lord for blessing me with the most rewarding career with an organization that has positively impacted countless lives over the generations that I've had the pleasure of serving. This award would not have been possible without the love and support of my family, especially my late mother, Barbara Lane, who taught my sisters and I the importance of service to others. And I would like for my family to stand and get a round of applause for putting up with me through the years. It would not have been possible without the leadership of past and present Parks and Recreation directors. Terry Pruitt, the father of recreation, the visionary Katrina Alexander, Darren Lewis, who always challenged and encouraged us to get better, and the progressive Peter Raymer. The amazing and dedicated staff and volunteers at Reeves Community Center, now Mount Airy Parks and Recreation, over these past 40 plus years have all been an important and vital part of my journey. And if you are a coworker and you're here today, I would love for you to stand. Thank you. Everyone who has been a part of our mission and programs over the years has enriched my life beyond measure, and I thank you for that. Today, I accept this award on behalf of all of you who have been on this journey with me. Thank you again for this great honor, and congratulations to all the 2024 Sports Hall of Fame inductees.
2008 Mount Airy High School State Championship football team, your team award will be presented at Mount Airy High School, I believe. We also have individual awards, so everybody make sure to come up and get your individual award before you leave today. On behalf of the City of Mount Airy, the Sports Hall of Fame Committee, everyone who put their time, effort, and donations in making this event a success, and especially the inductees and their families, thank you guys for being here today. For the next several moments, the inductees will be taking photos right here near the stage. We invite everyone else in attendance to please make their way across the street to the City Hall lawn for the unveiling of the Sports Hall of Fame monument. And following that is a reception in the City Hall lobby with refreshments. Once again, please everyone join me in giving a big round of applause for all the inductees to the 2024 Class Sports Hall of Fame.